Good morning. We will now look at the updated HADP indicator settings and the components first. Okay, and then we will probably move on to in the second part we will move on how to use it. Now, when it comes to the indicator, there are a few things that you need to understand, right? There is a green cloud that you are seeing here. So the trend is positive above the trend, above the cloud, and once the candles close below the trend changes negative. Okay, now that is the importance of the trend. And the second part is there is a green line that you are seeing. This is called the Lakshman Rekha line. Now this Lakshman Rekha is actually a long term, for that particular time frame, it is a long term trend. Okay, so if the candle is above this green line, that means it is positive. So normally when it changes color on its own. Okay, now whenever for example on the put side you are seeing that it is below the red, right? So this Lakshman Rekha, right, this will change green when the candle actually starts closing above the line, above the red line. Okay, once the candle Heikkanashi candle. Okay, so we use only Heikkanashi candles, so you have to first immediately switch over to a Heikkanashi candle for this setup to work. Okay, it doesn't work on a normal candle. The setup is built on Heikkanashi candle. Now as I told you, the red color line that you are seeing will change green as and when the candles start closing above it. Okay, similarly here on, if the candle starts closing below the green line, it will start changing red. Okay, so that is the long term trend. For example, if you see the call side, it is full of positive trend for few days. You can see here the cloud changed red and the green line that you are seeing started to change red, right? And a close below that is a confirmation of a downtrend. Now, what is this yellow line? This yellow line is nothing but VWAP, and all of us know that VWAP is specific to for that particular day. Okay, so intraday VWAP data. So these are some important components, and then here you see a dashboard. Now there is a dashboard which has got values, a level, a score and a trend. Now that means on a 3 minutes candle the trend is positive. Okay, now for example I am now on a 1 minute candle. For a 1 minute candle, 3 minute candle is a parent candle, right? Higher time frame. So that is in buy. For 3 minutes, 5 minutes is a parent candle. For 5 minutes, 15 minutes is a parent candle. For 15 minutes, 30 minutes is a parent candle, and for 30 minutes, 1 hour is a parent candle. So in this case, 1 minute candle is 1 minute is in buy with this green trend, and the 3 minutes is also into buy, right? 5 minutes is into buy, 10 minutes, 15 minutes is in buy, and 169.25, 30 minutes is also into buy. And then what it shows is RSI values for each of the time frame. 3 minutes RSI is on 47, 5 minutes is 50, 15 minutes RSI is 64, 30 minutes is 67, and 1 hour is 62. That is what it means. Okay, and then there is a divergence row. So a divergence will print if there is a bullish or bearish divergence noticed on any of these time frame, it will print here. And there is on the right side there is a dashboard called Lakshman Rekha. Now what is this Lakshman Rekha? Lakshman Rekha, I told you, is this line, right? Now why this dashboard? So I am on a 1 minute, I am able to see where the Lakshman Rekha is, right? So on a 3 minutes, what is the value of Lakshman Rekha? What is the value on a 5 minutes? What is the value on 15 minutes? And what is the value on 30 minutes is printed here. NA meaning there are not enough candles to calculate that long-term Lakshman Rekha trend. Okay, so sitting on a 1 minute candle, I am able to see where the Lakshman Rekha for different time frames are. and then below that you see a PDH, which is a previous day high, and previous day PDL, which is previous day low for this particular strike price. Okay, so this is the importance of the two dashboards. Now here you see this PDH printed, previous day high printed, right? And there are some values like 3 in bracket 252.2. What is this? This is nothing but the levels that you're seeing here. So that means that, for example, 3 minutes is 252.2, right? So the candle is above that. So 252.2 is where the 3 minutes buyers are sitting. So any close below 252.2 or 3 minutes candle closing below 252.2, the buy will change to a sell. That is what it means. Okay. Similarly, 5 minutes is at 243.5. You can see now it is printed 5 and in brackets 243.85. This is the exactly whatever you see is the level is what is printed here. Apart from that, let's go to the settings. So you have standard pivot points and show ORB. ORB is nothing but the first 15 minutes candle, 950 to 930 candles, high and low, they are marked as blue lines. It is marked as ORB high and ORB low. Show PDL, PDH, I told you already, right? If I remove the PDL, PDH, the previous day high and previous day lows are gone, right? Now standard pivots. This is the standard. Where is the standard pivot? The pivot points. So the pivot points are printed. Probably you'll have to see where it is. So I will come back to that later. Yeah, here. So the pivot point was at 140. The previous day low is at 72.1, which you can see here. The support one was at 51.7. Okay, so the pivot points are also printed. This R1 is printed, resistance 1 is printed, R2, R3 are not there. I will be updating the script. Okay, so that is the use of the components. Now let us go to understand this. Now if I go to the settings, so if I go to the settings, you will see that there is something called horizontal, show horizontal race. What is this? This is nothing but the values that you are seeing here, right? 252, 3 minutes is at 252.2, 5 is at 243.85. Those numbers which are here, right? If you switch them off, if you don't want to see them, you can switch it off. They will vanish, right? But the importance is that it tells you, for example, you're buying a, on a 1 minute candle, you're taking an entry, 3 minutes, if, for example, if the candle is here, let's say it is here, right? It will show you that, 252.2 is the nearest resistance on a 3 minutes where sellers are sitting, right? So that is the importance it tells. So we usually keep this on. It depends on you whether you want to keep it or not. There is a horizontal LTP ray color, right? Now what is this LTP ray? The LTP ray is this price that you are seeing. Now what is this price? Look at the Heikin-Ashi close, right? The Heikin-Ashi closing price versus the real time price. Now this is market is settled, so it is showing 271.55. Real price is also that. But normally during the market hours, what happens is this price is different and Heikin-Ashi, the way the closing of Heikin-Ashi is calculated is different. So last traded price, the actual real last traded price LTP is this price, which is for us to understand, okay, for us to know what the exact price is. Now let's go back to the settings. Then the cloud color, this cloud color and all that, you need not probably touch any of these. And then now let us come to the filters. The most important part is this filters. Okay. Now what is the importance of Lakshman Rekha? Now the Lakshman Rekha, if it is switched on, all the buy signals and sell signals below and above the Lakshman Rekha will get turned off. For example, if I say Lakshman Rekha, use Lakshman Rekha here, right? You see the cell here, no? This is above the Lakshman Rekha, right? Now if I turn it on, that cell signal is gone. So cell signals above the Lakshman Rekha will vanish. Similarly, by signals below the Lakshman Rekha will vanish. So is there any candle here? Let us go and see. Yeah, so here you have a by candle below the Lakshman Rekha. Now let us go and turn that on. Now if I turn it on, gone. Now what happened? This by has shifted here, right? Above the Lakshman Rekha, the candle closed and it gave a by here. So that is the use. Now VWAP, see, if you use a VWAP, it will the same thing what Lakshman Rekha does. Similarly, use VWAP filter will only print when the candle closes above the VWAP. Okay. Now when both are on, in this case it is above the Lakshman Rekha, it has closed above the VWAP, so it is okay. It's still there, right? Now there is something called, now when I remove, okay, let me keep the Lakshman Rekha. Now I have kept the Lakshman Rekha. It has come back. I'm removing it. I'm using use VWAP. Again, you will see it shifting, right? Now there is something called use higher time frame trend filter. This is the most important part, very important part, because this is actually aligning with your higher time frame. I told you about the parent candle. For a 1 minute candle, only if the 3 minute, for example, you got a buy signal here, right? So this buy signal will be valid only if your 3 minutes is into buy. So 1 minute aligning with your parent. It's always safe to hold your parents, for a child to hold parents' fingers and walk, right? So it is like that. So it is alignment with your parent candle. Now let us try to switch on this, and you see that vanished, right? So that means that the buy signal that was triggered here at 96.75, right? One, it was below the Lakshman Rekha, it is below the VWAP, and it was not in time frame trend. Okay, so so that means that when this buy came, the 3 minutes would have been in sell mode. When the 3 minutes would have changed to buy is here. So when you see, the buy has gone to 108.5 now. So in this case, it had an alignment with a 3 minutes candle. It closed above the VWAP, it closed above the Lakshman Rekha, and the high of this broken, it started to move out. And this is a 1 minute candle, right? So this is the importance of the three filters here. So very important. The best practice is to use higher time frame filter on. For a free version, you don't get 1 minute candle, you will use only 3 minutes candles. So a print of, when you switch this on, if you are trading on a 3 minutes candle, your 5 minutes candle must be in buy. Only then it will print buy signals on your 3 minutes chart. That is what it means. Similarly, any 3 minutes sell, right? If you are on a 3 minutes thing and you get a sell signal, that will be printed only if your 5 minutes is into sell mode. That is what this Lakshman Rekha does. Now whether I use it or not is different. It depends from trader to trader. 1 minute I usually don't keep anything on, because the maximum that you can expect from a 1 minute candle is only 12 to 13 points. Okay. So I keep everything off and I try to take 60% of my trades off at 12 to 13 points. The remaining 20% I take it out at 24-25 points, and the remaining 25% I wait till the exit prints. Okay, so the exit is where your actual trailing stop loss is done, right? Your trailing stop loss gets hit. So this will act, this cloud acts as your trailing stop loss and initial stop loss also. So for example, I bought at 96.5, immediately this turns red and prints an exit, I should be out of the trade. So exit symbol tells you either your stop loss is hit or your trailing stop loss is hit. Okay, so this anchor that you are seeing, right, For example, if I go to the last part, right? Now this is the trend anchor on a 1 minute chart. So the trend anchor is red now. Critical 1 minute buy gave 280, it went to 288, then came back, it printed an exit on a 1 minute candle, right? 3 minutes candle probably did not give any buy at all. And this is the importance of the higher time frames. Now let us go and see if there is something else. Now we spoke about this, show pivot points. If you turn it off, the pivots will go off. We spoke about this already. There is now show signal scoreboard, right? This scoreboard, if I don't want, if I turn it off, it will vanish. If I turn it on, it will come back. Right side, Lakshman Rekha, right? Show levels, Lakshman Rekha dashboard. You turn it off, it will go off. Okay? Turn it on, it will come back. Then you have the time frames. I have selected 3, 5, 15, 30, 1 hour as default. You can change the time frames as you want here. Okay? And then signals table positioning, right? Signal table is this, right? So if I've kept it at left bottom, if I keep it to top right, you will see that this will move here. Okay? So you can move wherever you want. So by default, it is at left. Similarly, this one, data table position, which is this. Okay. Now there is something called show RSI. Is here, it is showing RSI value and divergences. If at all it's there, it will print. If I remove both, I want the dashboard, but I don't want these two rows. I can turn it on or off. But if I turn it on, now it is all there. But if I go up and remove the dashboard itself, they will vanish. The entire dashboard vanishes. I want the dashboard, but I don't want RSI and RSI divergence to be shown. Then I can remove it. Now alert proximity I've kept at 10 points. What does it mean? Now whenever, for example, it is reaching R1 resistance or S1 support, right? Or Lakshman Rekha, right? It will tell you 10 points before that 3 minutes Lakshman Rekha, 4 minutes, it will print 3R, 5R here. That means that you are getting closer to the 3 minutes Lakshman Rekha, you are getting closer to the 5 minutes Lakshman Rekha. Similarly, it will also tell you you are getting near the pivot, near R1, near R2. That is what the alert proximity does. Okay. So with that, I think we complete the components part and the settings part of the HADP updated indicator. Now how to use is very simple, and that we will see in the next video. Thank you.